Hey guys, I wanted to check in with you and see how it was going with that last assignment I gave you. Remember the one with the sentences, the sentence strips? That was the PDF I uploaded onto Canvas and told you to print out. And I suggested that you cut out the strips with a pair of scissors and then treat it like a puzzle basically. Take those strips, put them together, and see what they form. Well, what they were supposed to form is this, a paragraph, a very basic, very simple paragraph. There's a reason why I didn't want to tell you it was a paragraph. I think it's a great way to go about remembering something, remembering what you already knew about something by going at it in reverse, right? Instead of creating a paragraph, we kind of took one apart, dissected it, and looked at the individual parts, and then I had you put those parts back together. I find it a really useful exercise in thinking of what those individual elements are and how they fit together and how they reinforce each other. Keep in mind, paragraph structure is so incredibly important to understand. Most of the writing you'll do in college is going to pull from your knowledge of how a paragraph is put together. Any larger piece of writing you do, including essays, obviously, goes back to this idea of a paragraph and how they actually work. So let's do this. Let's look at this paragraph and let's consider what those elements actually are, okay? So let me ask you, when you were putting this thing together, how did you do it? What were you looking for? What were the clues that you found in those individual sentences that kind of let you know what order they were supposed to go in? So I bet one of the things you noticed was the use of transitions, right? There are words in this that give you a lot of information. They tell you the parts of this guy's argument, and they also tell you the order in which he's going to talk about those parts. And I'm talking about words like this. First, where's the next one? Second, and last. Those are transition words. And not only are they telling you that there are three parts to this guy's argument, but it's also telling you the order in which he's talking about them, right? That's a really important thing to figure out. That helps you put this puzzle together. Now, another really important part, maybe the most important part, is that very first sentence. So think about that for a second. How did you know what the first sentence was supposed to be? What goes into the first sentence of a paragraph? In fact, what do we even call that first sentence of a paragraph? Well, you probably remember this. It's the topic sentence, right? In fact, I'm going to give that its own color. Here we go, right here. There is our topic sentence. Now, why is it called a topic sentence? Because literally it is the topic. It's the main idea. It's what this whole paragraph is about. The reason I know that's a topic sentence is because if I look at any other sentence in this entire paragraph, all of those sentences in some way support that pink sentence right there, okay? Working in an apple plant job was the worst job I ever had. Everything that follows goes back, feeds into that one sentence, and that's how I know that's my topic sentence. I can't do that with any other sentence here. I can't look at any other sentence here and say, oh yeah, all the other sentences feed into that one. It only happens with this one, and that's why it's a topic sentence. There's only one topic sentence, okay? There's only one main idea for every paragraph, and for that reason, I'm giving it its own color. I gave it pink, basically, right? Working in an apple plant was the worst job I ever had. Main idea, there it is. Now, we've already found the next level of information when we were looking at those transition words, right? First, second, and last. What he's done essentially is take that sentence and divided it into smaller parts. That wouldn't be much of a paragraph if he just said, hey, I really hated working at this apple plant, and then just left it at that. That's not a fully developed idea at all. That's where paragraph structure comes in, okay? It allows for room for development. It allows you to take this idea and dissect it and make it really understandable for your reader. And that's what's going on here. So if we go back and consider those three transition words and the sentences that they're actually setting up, let's go ahead and color in that whole sentence. First, the work was physically hard. The second bad feature was the pay. And finally, The last and worst feature of the apple plant job was the working conditions. All three of those are yellow because all three of those have the same job. We call them supporting details. That's what they are. The second level of information, right under the topic sentence, is your supporting detail. Supporting details do just what they say. They support, right? The whole point of their existence is to take that main idea, that pink sentence, and to divide it into smaller chunks so that I can really fully understand the meaning of that sentence. So it's not just that he hates his job. He has three specific reasons why he hates his job so much. All right, now we could stop right there. Literally, that could be a paragraph. Working in a plant was the worst job I ever had. First, it was hard. Second, was the pay. And then last was the working conditions. That alone could be a paragraph. It's not a great paragraph, but it is a legitimate paragraph. What makes this more of a college level paragraph is that it goes even further into the details, okay? It's going to further dissect those elements. We took that pink sentence and we divided it up into three smaller ideas. Now, those smaller ideas, those supporting details, those yellow sentences, they can be divided up even smaller, and that's what this guy did. If you notice, every time he gives us one of those yellow sentences, a supporting detail, he gives us some information explaining what he's talking about, okay? He's basically giving you evidence. Evidence is what these blue sentences are, okay? First, the work was physically hard. He doesn't just leave it there. He explains it. For 10 hours a night, I took cartons that rolled down a metal rack and stacked them onto wooden skids in a tractor trailer. Each carton contained 12 32-ounce cans or bottles of apple juice, and they were heavy. All of this is support. It's evidence for why it was so physically hard. Then he goes to the next one. The second bad feature was the pay. Why was the pay so bad? Well, he explains that, right? He tells you how much he made and how little it was after the end of the workday. Last one, the worst feature was the working conditions. Again, he doesn't just stop with working conditions. He actually explains what was so bad about those working conditions. He makes us understand. He's giving us evidence. Blue, blue, blue. That's what they're doing. Now, that very last sentence, we're going to ignore it for now, okay? We'll talk about this one later on. Let's just consider these three colors right now. Can you see that there are three levels of information here? You've got the pink one, which is your main idea, your topic sentence. You've got the three yellow ones, which are three supporting details, and then each of those supporting details has some evidence, the blue sentences. There is a logic to how this thing is put together, and if you understand that structure, you really understand pretty much all of paragraph writing. Now, that's not to say that every paragraph has to look exactly like this. There are many different ways of writing paragraphs. But what I want you to understand is they all come back to this structure, okay? In some way, they are replicating this structure. Even if they move some of the elements around a little bit or add or take away from those elements, essentially, this is it. This is how a paragraph is put together. So, another way of thinking about this. Let's think of a way to diagram this, okay? Because this makes sense for some people, but not for everybody. Sometimes just coloring in sentences doesn't make it click. So here's what I want to show you. Think of it as a map of ideas, okay? Basically, it's a hierarchy of ideas. You know what that word is, hierarchy? It's like different levels that work together, and those levels exist in different places, basically going from top to bottom. You could think of it as going from most important to least important, or you could think of it as going from biggest idea to most specific idea. That's kind of what a hierarchy is, okay? At the very top of that hierarchy would be your main idea. So remember up here, pink sentence, my topic sentence, there it is. I just represented it as a square basically, okay? There's my topic sentence right there. Now, it doesn't stop there. I've got a second level of information, and you can see it. It's those yellow sentences. I've got three of them, three supporting details, right? So a way of thinking of those supporting details is that they are your second level of information. I've got 3 of them, so I'm going to put 3 squares here. Notice how they connect back up to the topic sentence. They all connect right back up to that main idea that's holding them together. Finally, I've got that 3rd level. We called it evidence. You could call it evidence, you could call it examples, you could call it explanation, the 3 E's. And here they are. This guy happened to give 2 for each of his supporting details, right? 2 sentences of evidence. Now, can you see what they have in common? Check out this map here and compare it to this guy here. See that? It's the same structure. See, notice the logic of it. Notice how the blue ones feed into the yellow ones and the yellow ones feed into the red one, right? The pink one. That's it. That is basic structure, basic paragraph structure. That is, believe it or not, a college level paragraph. It may not be the most complicated paragraph or the most interesting, but it is a well-written paragraph. It has the elements that are necessary for writing a paragraph. And what I want you to understand is there's an expectation, right? The expectation when you're asked to write a paragraph for any class, no matter what the class is, the expectation is you understand that this is what you're putting together right here, okay? You have to have these things. You have to have a topic sentence. If you're missing a topic sentence, then it's not a proper paragraph. And you also have to break it down into smaller ideas. You have to have those yellow sentences, those supporting ideas. They need to be there in a college level paragraph. And ultimately, ideally, you should explain those even further, right? You should break down those supporting details into information, smaller bits of information that explain those ideas. Now, why did I have you do this? Well, if you remember, the very first assignment I gave you was a paragraph. Remember I asked you to write a paragraph about what kind of writer you are? I didn't give you too many instructions. Basically, all I said was the one stipulation, it needed to be a paragraph. And there was a reason I did that. The reason was I wanted to see how much you remembered about the overall structure of a paragraph. I wanted to know if you had that in mind when you were answering my prompt. Or did you get really hung up on just answering the prompt, and did you just give me a bunch of information that doesn't really fit together in a cohesive way? That's not necessarily a bad thing. A first draft should be that, in fact. You shouldn't really worry about structure when you're doing a first draft on something, right? You're just getting down ideas. The problem is a lot of people stop at that step. They get their ideas down on paper and they figure, well, that's it. I answered the question, I'm done. This is where the editing comes in, okay? Editing, incredibly important in writing. You should always go back and rewrite. In this case, once you get those ideas down, you should go back and rewrite and start thinking about structure. Start asking yourself, okay, did I actually put a topic sentence in my paragraph? Did I actually break it up into smaller pieces? Did I have supporting details? What I want you to do is consider this structure that we made right here, and I want you to go back to your paragraph, okay? I didn't have you turn it in yet because we're not done with it yet. I want you to actually color it, okay? Print out that paragraph that you wrote for me, answering what kind of writer you are, and I even want you to use the same 3 colors, pink, yellow, and blue, and I want you to color it, okay? Print it out, find some pens or some coloring pencils, and color it, and see what happens, okay? This is kind of an experiment, basically. I want you to see if you actually have a topic sentence. Some of you will and some of you won't. I know this from experience, okay? Do you really have supporting details? Do you have details that actually support that main idea? Or are you going off on a tangent and talking about something else? If you are, then it shouldn't be colored yellow, okay? Going back to the topic sentence, if you have one, great, make it pink. But if you don't, then don't use pink on your paragraph. Don't fudge this. Be honest with yourself, okay? If there's no topic sentence, then don't color anything. Finally, if you took those supporting details and actually explained each one, if you gave explanation or evidence for each of the topic sentence, each of the supporting details, then make them blue. That's what I want you to do, okay? That's the first step of this assignment. go back, print out your paragraph, and color it with 3 colors, and then compare it to this paragraph, this apple plant job paragraph. And obviously the information is not going to be the same, but look at the structure. Does the structure look the same? Do you have pink and then yellow, blue, and yellow, blue, and yellow, blue? Now, I didn't ask you for 3 supporting details. I did not specify that, okay? But that doesn't mean you shouldn't have that structure. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't have supporting details. You should still have them, okay? So notice on your own paragraph, is there pink? Is it followed by yellow? Do you have blue ones that follow those yellow ones? Now, that's the first step. Here's the next step, okay? Once you find out, and a lot of you are going to find out, that the way you've colored your paragraph doesn't look anything like this one. Don't feel bad about that. It's totally okay. In fact, I expect this, okay? This is part of the assignment. In a way, I kind of like it when they don't agree with each other, because it means you're about to learn something new, or you're about to remember something that you haven't thought about in a long time. So that's the whole point of this, okay? Once you realize that those colors don't match up quite so well, what I want you to do is rewrite the paragraph, okay? Rewrite the paragraph about you as a writer and color it as well, okay? Same 3 colors. I want you to color the new rewritten paragraph pink for your main idea, your topic sentence, 3 for your supporting details, and I want you to have blue sentences. So if the original one didn't have blue sentences, I want you to add them now. Now, this is going to require a lot of editing for some of you guys. Maybe some of you just got it right on the first time. Maybe it really does look like this: pink, yellow, blue, yellow, blue, yellow, blue. Fine, that's great. You did a great job. If not, you might have to change something. If you find you don't have a topic sentence, you don't actually have a topic sentence, well, then create one right now, okay? By the way, is it really a topic sentence? Okay, I want you to look at the topic sentence you have right now, even if you think you have one, and ask yourself, is it really a topic sentence? One good test here, is it answering the question? My question was, what kind of writer are you? Well, a fantastic topic sentence would answer that question, okay? I am a pretty decent writer. That could be my topic sentence because, hey, I answered the question, didn't I? What kind of writer are you? Well, I'm a pretty decent writer. That's my pink sentence right there. I am a pretty decent writer. How could I divide that up into a few yellow sentences, supporting details? Well, first of all, my knowledge of punctuation is pretty good. Hey, that's a supporting detail right now, right there. Now I can put some blue sentences explaining the ways in which my punctuation is pretty good. Then I'm going to go on to the second reason why I think I'm a pretty decent writer. The second reason why I'm a pretty decent writer is because I'm pretty creative. Okay, there's my next yellow sentence. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm replicating this structure, but I'm putting my own information in there. Again, maybe you won't have to change very much, and maybe you'll have to rewrite the whole thing. It doesn't matter. Either way, whatever it takes to get to this structure right here, this is what I want you to aim for, okay? I want you to follow this structure, same 3 colors, same 3 levels of information, and I want you to color it. Now, I am going to want you to turn this into me, okay? This is for points, basically. And it's super important, so this is not a step that we want to skip, because this element we're talking about right now is going to inform everything else that we do in this class. So it's really important that we understand it, get a really good understanding of this paragraph structure right now. That's why I want you to turn it into me, and that's why I'm going to give you points for it. So how do you turn it into me? Well, because I'm having you print it out and actually color the pieces, some of you could do this on a computer, and that would be fine if you want to send it to me that way, like on Word. If you want to actually just highlight the sentences, red, yellow, and blue, that's okay. But if you're more comfortable working on a piece of paper and colored pencils, this time I'm okay with that too. I still need you to send it to me. So what you could do is print it out, write the paragraph, print it out, color it with the 3 colors, and then just take your phone and take a picture of it, okay? As long as it's a clear picture, get the whole paragraph in there, I should be able to read it okay. I know that I stipulated in the last lecture about sending things as PDFs. Generally, that's going to be true because I'm going to want to write on them. But this time, because I'm asking you to color it, I'm being a little more lenient. So this does not have to be a PDF, okay? You don't have to worry about worry about that this time. So like I said, if you want to just take a picture of it with your phone and then email that directly, same email where you send assignments, okay? So the same place that you're going to send your essays and your sentences and all that stuff, send it to that email. If you just send me a picture of it and I can read it, that should be good enough, okay? And that's it. That's the assignment. So before you rewrite it, I want you to actually color in your old paragraphs, okay? So get your old paragraph, the first one you wrote, color it with the 3 colors. If things don't go great, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Then rewrite the paragraph, color it with the 3 colors, and I want to see those 3 elements. Oh, one other thing. With your supporting details, I want to see at least 3, okay? I realize I didn't stipulate that the first time, but now I am. Now that we've been talking about structure, I want you to have that in mind. So, not that 3 is a magic number, it's just what we're working with this time, okay? Think of it as just an arbitrary number, basically. I want to see 3 supporting details. So if your original paragraph only had 1 or 2 supporting details, well, then add some until you've got 3. If you've got more than 3, that's fine, okay? Totally okay. More than 3 is okay. But I want to count at least 3 yellow sentences in this paragraph. So write it out, write the paragraph, color it, take a picture of it, or do it on your computer, and email it to me. Make sure your name's on it so I know it's from you, and I'll give you credit for it. Okay, that's it. That's the assignment. If you got any questions, write to me. Okay, let me know. And I will get back to you with an answer as quickly as I can. Now, we need a due date for this. Let's make the due date Sunday, okay? Let's just make everything due Sunday. That's going to be the case for most of the assignments we do. So we'll just stick with that. So that gives you, several days to work on this. And then by Sunday midnight, along with the sentences that we've been working on, I want you to send me this paragraph as well, all colored up with the 3 colors. All right? So that's it. That's the assignment. You got questions, let me know. I'll get back to you. Other than that, take it easy. And I will talk to you soon.